I'm WyoSports editor Jeremiah Johnke, and I'm on my 4A football tour here with Gillette coach Vic Wilkerson. Coach Wilkerson, you guys were second in the state last year. Played a classic game in the championship against a team that you guys had beaten in the regular season. How did that game there set the tone for the offseason?
Well, our kids always want to compete, and it's always new each year, but there are quite a few kids on this team back that were in that game and had contributing factors to that game, and so they'd like to get a shot to get back to that title game and see what we can do.
You mentioned you got a handful of kids back. Just looking over the All-State and All-Conference teams from last year, that's certainly true. And obviously, it seemed to me like for you guys probably have the best player in the state in Lane Tucker. What is it? What's Lane bring to the table for you guys?
He's just so versatile. He's a big man who's strong and can get after you, but his speed is what makes him a great player. Defensively, coming off that edge with that speed, he makes a tough block. Offensively, he's got good footwork that he can get out on the edge and block in front of people. He's got good strength to drive blocks, so he's just an overall offensive and defensive lineman.
I know he's already verbally committed to North Dakota State. Will he be playing for the Bison as a defensive lineman then?
Yeah, they're looking at him in defensive tackle, actually, moving him down inside.
Okay, I see. Well, the other guy that stands out on your list of returners is Madden Pakula. He's a guy that he's put up video game type numbers last season, especially that one game where he had 256 receiving yards. What is it that's made him so special?
Well, he just runs great routes. He's got good hands. He's quickness. He's precise in his cuts. He's got the little shake moves to lose the defender. So offensively, he just presents a tough matchup, and we're going to have to find ways to get the ball in his hands.
With a weapon like that, you talked about finding ways to get the ball in his hands. You guys have had some special players like that before. How much has that experience kind of lent itself to doing it, made it easier to do that sort of thing, when you do encounter another guy like Madden?
Yeah, I think our offense is versatile enough, and we have enough different things in our package that we can tailor it around guys like that. We can find formation changes and motion changes and short stuff and deep stuff and a good mix to find different ways so that a defense can't just concentrate on Madden getting the deep ball and double team him with an over-under. We'll find ways to get around that and get the ball to him.
Well, the offense that you guys are running a hurry up. You don't huddle. You guys spread it out, and that offense lends itself to some pretty stellar numbers from your quarterbacks. And if you look over the top 10, all-time passing yardage, list in the state, 4 of those guys in there are guys who have just recently played here. Alan Cecil, Austin Fort, Cale Measler, and Dalton Holst is now the number 1 guy. He took over Cale's spot last year. Do you have that guy figured out right now, the guy that's going to succeed Dalton and maybe put up some record-breaking numbers this year?
Well, we got 2 guys that are battling it out, and we'll see where it goes. Tony Johnston's a senior, and Keaton Wilkerson's a junior, and they both played junior varsity last year, and so they put in good off seasons and worked hard, and they're battling neck and neck right now, and we'll see where things go through the fall. And I think more than anything, though, our offense with returners that we've got. We're not going to have a quarterback put up record-breaking numbers to be successful. We've got 4 returning offensive linemen. We've got a running back that is very, very good. Played wideout for us last year just because of the depth that was in front of him, but I think he's going to have a breakout season. We've got excellent receivers, so we can find ways to distribute the ball to all those guys. It doesn't have to be all put on the quarterback's shoulders.
Well, I remember, every year Gatorade comes to me and says, hey, who are some of the guys that you think that we should look at for Gatorade Player of the Year? And I remember mentioning a player from, another school in 4A, and they said, the guy emailed me back and said, well, all right, well, those numbers are great, but we almost expect that quarterback on that team to have those sort of rushing numbers and those sort of passing numbers. Just looking at what your guys have done, you could maybe say the same thing about your offense, but it seems to me like maybe that, calling it a system thing is probably unfair to the players, is it not?
Yeah, the players have to make the plays, and we've had talented ones come through that have stepped up to that level, and that's just the expectation in our program.
Well, we talked about a handful of guys that are coming back. Who are the guys that you think this year can emerge, and come late September we'll know their names, and so will everybody else around the state.
Well, running back Austin Clem Clemenson's going to step in there. He played wide out for us last year, but he's going to do a good job there. Caleb Durgan has had a good offseason, both offensively and defensively. We look for him to give us things. Parker Long, I think, he's kind of a guy that's kind of been in the shadows. He's played well for us, and we know what he's got, but I think as far as people around the state knowing him, he's kind of played in the shadows, but he's been starting at linebacker since a sophomore. He played tight end for us last year, and I think he's going to have a breakout year this year.
All right, well, Coach Wilkerson, I really appreciate your time. I'm WyoSports editor Jeremiah Johnke, signing off from my stop in Gillette. We'll see you next week in Laramie.